Everyone talks about sets, reps, training splits, and different fancy programs, but here is the truth. None of these things matter unless you understand what is the most important driver for muscle growth, which is actually mechanical tension. In this video, I will break it down simply. What it is, why it matters, and how it triggers muscle growth on the cellular level, and how you can apply it to your own training. So if you're not having results in the gym as you expect, this may be the missing piece you have overlooked. I'm Dr. Nash Jocic, former bodybuilding champion. I have been in bodybuilding for over 40 years. I competed 46 times around the globe and I won 17 titles. In the meantime, I have trained personally over 3,000 clients and helped them to get in the best shape of their lives. I also published 10 ebooks, which are all available on my website. You just need to click the link down in the comments. And in my ebooks, you will find detailed explanations about everything you always wanted to know about muscle growth, fat loss, training for beginners, diet, nutrition, competitive bodybuilding, and similar. So let us dive into the topic today. What is mechanical tension? So mechanical tension is the force that your muscle fibers experience when they contract under the load. Now, as you know, there are two different parts of contractions. We have a positive contraction, negative contraction, or concentric and eccentric contractions. Now, these two contractions actually decide about the type of mechanical tension. So we have two different types of mechanical tension. One is passive tension, and that happens when muscles are tense under the load while you are stretching the muscle, elongating the muscle, when you are performing the negative part of repetition. Now, for example, when you do bench press, you're lowering the bar, or when you do dumbbell flies, you're fully stretching. So this is the passive tension. That part of fully stretching the muscle out under the load is called passive tension. Now, active tension is tension that muscles experience when you are contracting them. So when you're moving the dumbbells up, either bench press bar or dumbbell flies or pec deck or biceps curls, when you're contracting, shortening the muscle, you are basically creating active tension. Both of these tensions are very important. This mechanical tension is the number one driver of hypertrophy. Now, you all know that there is metabolic stress and muscle damage. They are also important, but they are secondary. So the primary driver for muscle growth is mechanical tension. Without it, neither metabolic stress nor muscle damage will actually work. So why is mechanical tension building muscle? So what actually causes the growth? So when the muscle experiences this level of tension, it actually activates mechanosensors inside the muscle fibers. These sensors trigger the mTOR pathway, which is the master switch for protein synthesis. Second, the tension forces body to recruit high threshold motor units, which are your powerful, fast twitch muscle fibers. And these are the fibers with the biggest growth potential. As I explained, there is type 2A and type 2B. Both of them are very important. Type 2B obviously growth can double in size, while type 2A grows up to 30% in size. So they are both triggered via mechanical tension. Now, the greater the tension, the greater the stimulus for adaptation. So you can compare this, for example, to metabolic stress. You know, when you experience pump and burn, and you think that this is the main reason for muscle growth, but actually this is not, because I'll just give you an example. You have all tried to ride a bicycle up the hill. So you can go up the hill, down the hill, up the hill. You can ride a bicycle fast for an hour, and your legs will absolutely be burning. You can also walk up the hill on the hills, on the mountains. You can walk for hours, and your legs next day, they're going to be burning. They're going to be pumped during that activity. but they will not grow. And the reason for that is that because mechanical tension was very low, so you didn't achieve the certain level of mechanical tension which is necessary to trigger the growth. So basically, you didn't activate enough mechanosensors, you didn't trigger mTOR pathway, and you didn't stimulate activation of the high threshold motor units, meaning fast twitch muscle fibers. So unless there is enough mechanical tension, muscles will never grow. So how to create mechanical tension? So there are four key methods in order to generate mechanical tension in training. So number one is to lift heavy load with control. So you must not confuse momentum with strength and correct training. Tension comes from muscle, not from bouncing the weight around. So this is number one reason. You need to lift heavy with control. Number two reason is the method is to slow down your eccentric. So negative part of the repetition is actually that eccentric part is when muscle can resist the most load. So this is that passive tension. Now, passive tension is more effective for muscle growth than active tension. So this second method is critical. You need to slow down, you need to control your eccentric part of the repetition. And this is where mechanical tension peaks. Now, you have to train close to failure or to failure. So as you remember, I don't advise to train every set to failure or every set of every exercise to failure. You can go to failure, but in order to accumulate enough sets for optimal muscle growth for every muscle group, as I have explained in the previous videos, is much better to go near to failure, maybe 1-2 reps short of failure, and that way you will be able to perform more sets. So you will accumulate more productive repetitions by multiplying sets. So don't confuse that with going to failure all out in every set. If you want to go to failure, go in the last set of your exercise, maybe not in every exercise for a particular muscle group, or maybe in 1 or 2, but don't do it in every set. So if you don't go close to failure, you will never actually achieve, you will never stimulate, you will never engage these fast twitch muscle fibers, which are actually the key for muscle growth. The number 4 method that will help you create mechanical tension is full range of motion. So muscle can lengthen up to the point and then contract up to the point. So this is called trajectory. This is the way that your biomechanics actually reach the end and start position. So you go from stretching to contracting, stretching to contracting. If you don't do the full range of motion, you will never stimulate mechanical tension 100%. So don't do half reps in order to lift heavier weights. There is not going to be compensation. You need to fully stretch every muscle that you train and fully contract. This way you will optimize mechanical tension. Now, let me tell you a few words about mechanical tension and versus junk volume. So this is where many lifters go wrong. They think that if you do just more sets, that will automatically make more growth. But this is not true. Your sets, even if you do many sets, they all have to be performed in according to those 4 methods that I have just mentioned. Lift heavy with control, slow down in eccentrics, train close to failure, and perform full range of motion. So this will contribute to full mechanical tension. If you don't do that, you're just lifting the weights in order to collect certain amount of reps or sets, but this is clearly junk volume. Now, and also you should ask yourself, if you are doing that, am I here to just be lifting these weights? Am I causing any mechanical tension or not? So if you're not causing mechanical tension according to these 4 methods that I've just mentioned, that you're basically wasting your time. So let us remind us. Let me remind you what is the practical application per muscle group. How can you use this? For example, when you do bench press, barbell bench press for chest, you have a heavy active tension because of heavy load that compound exercise will allow you. But don't forget that you also have to fully stretch that muscle, which bench press will never allow you. This is why you need to do the combination of compound and isolating exercises. As I have mentioned, again, in the previous videos, where I talked about compound and isolation exercises. So bench press, yes, but then you have to perform also dumbbell flies or cable crossovers or pec deck or similar isolating exercise that will allow you actually to fully stretch your muscle. When you do quads, for example, when you train quads, when you do squats, if you don't go all the way down, you are actually never extending that muscle fully. You are never doing full range of motion. So that mechanical tension, especially in the passive part, during passive tension, wouldn't be optimal. If I just can remind you that the passive tension is more important than active tension, then you will definitely understand why fully stretching the muscle under the load and optimizing that passive tension is critical for muscle growth. So don't be fooled with piling up weights on the bar and going 1/3 or quarter or 1/2 of reps doing squats, because that will never build your legs. I see that every day. There are people in the gym who are squatting, at least they think they're squatting, but they're using 4 or 5 plates doing squats, and they have no legs. I never go more these days than 2 plates each side, and I have 4 times, 5 times bigger legs than them, not to mention my shape. So how is that possible? But I'm doing full range of motion, and I'm applying all 4 principles that I've just mentioned to you regarding mechanical tension, while they are not. They're just moving the weights. So this is regarding practical application in order to trigger mechanical tension. Now, these are the common mistakes when it comes to mechanical tension. Number one is lifting weight that is too light. So people think that if you just perform high number of reps and high number of sets, you've done the job. But this is not true. Although I have talked about people like Serge Nubre and Arnold and others, Sergio Oliva, people who did a lot of sets. But they didn't do it with light weights. They just did it with right weights. So using these concepts of light and heavy is definitely misleading. What is light? What is heavy? It's completely arbitrary. There is only one weight that matters, and this is what I call a right weight. So if that weight allows you to do full range of motion, to focus on slow eccentric, to collect required number of reps regarding time under tension, and also to do enough sets in order to optimize muscle growth, that weight is called a right weight. So is it going to be 15 or 20 kgs for biceps curls, or 35 or 50? It doesn't matter. It depends on individuals. So if you see somebody having massive arms and doing 25 kgs or 30 kgs barbell curls, you should start thinking, how is this possible? Oh, he's doing with lightweight. No, it's not lightweight, it's right weight. So lifting too light will never get you to achieve maximum mechanical tension, hence maximum muscle growth. Now, training too fast is again another problem, another mistake, because if you train too fast, you will be relying on momentum. So momentum replaces tension. This is the detrimental factor in training. A lot of people are doing that. In order to lift, I can bench 3 plates each side for 6 reps. Yes, but you're doing it too fast and you're relying on momentum, so you're not really causing mechanical tension. Mechanical tension is something very different. I've just explained that. So going too fast will cause you to replace tension with momentum, and this is not make you get bigger. Now doing half reps. A lot of people again doing half reps in order to satisfy their ego and put heavy weights for whatever reason. So you can't do half reps. You are cutting the number of muscle fibers that will be recruited. If you need to go full range, because that full stretching of the muscle is critical for passive tension. And if you don't do that, there are muscle filaments called titins, which will never be activated. And these are actually the biggest proteins in your muscles. So if you don't fully stretch that muscle under the load, you will never fulfill that requirement of passive tension. This is why full range of motion will always beat any half reps training system. Now, number 4 mistake is clearly ego lifting. People come to the gym in order to prove to them that they can achieve something, that they can move weight from point A to point B, and they are doing everything in order to achieve that, unfortunately using wrong form, using momentum, bouncing the weights, and that way they're stressing mainly their joints, tendons, and ligaments, while they're not causing mechanical tension on the muscle. How do mechanical tension relates to other growth factors? Now, there are other growth factors as well, like metabolic stress and muscle damage, and they're also contributing to muscle growth. But these two other growth drivers are secondary. They will never achieve optimal results if you do not achieve high enough mechanical tension. So mechanical tension requires that you are working near to failure, that you're controlling the tempo, that you are especially controlling that eccentric part of the motion, and metabolic stress and muscle damage can enhance muscle growth, but only if mechanical tension is in place. So let me wrap it up for you. Mechanical tension is the foundation of muscle growth, and without it, you can do all the sets and reps in the world and make very little progress. With mechanical tension, perform in a way that I have explained to you in this video, you will make every rep count. So I hope that you will follow this advice and that you will achieve much better results in the gym if you do so. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and also send me your comments. As you know, we have a very vibrant discussion on our community page, and I will also answer a lot of your comments as much as I can. I would like to remind you once again that I have published 10 ebooks which are fully loaded with a detailed explanation about muscle growth, fat loss, training techniques, perfect number of sets, reps, diet, lifestyle change, and everything you wanted to know regarding bodybuilding. Please watch this video, because in this video I'll explain other services that I offer and the ways that I can work with you one-to-one and help you personally improve in muscle growth and regarding fat loss. So on my website you can find other services such as personalized training programs, personalized nutritional programs, telephone consultations, online coaching, and also personal training one-to-one for people who live in London. So please watch the video and see if there is anything that I can help you achieve best results. Till the next video, I wish you all the best.